Welcome to the Carl Latting Show. My name is Carl Latting. Thank you for tuning in, or clicking in is a better phrase. I have titled this show, Success is Not a Hobby. Success is not a hobby. These days, there's a lot going on in America. I think we could all agree. We're 1 week past what I call just disaster of a debate between apparently the two best people that a nation of 330 million could put forward to be their leader. I'm not impressed with either candidate. One of them may not even really be coherent, where the other one, there's a circus that follows him everywhere he goes. Based on that, I don't think any of us, especially the men, have any more time to waste. If you think the government is coming to save you or to bail you out of whatever is ailing you, whether that's the interest rates, the money in your pocket, what's going on in your house, family, body, you would be wrong to believe that. There's no time like the present for us to begin to chase excellence. If we boil it down into a word, we have to succeed. You don't have a choice. And so the title of this episode is that success is not a hobby. It's not the kind of thing that we can do as a side gig. It has to be the gig. It has to be what's on our mind day after day. There's a lot that is being put forward over social media, and a message that's been going out towards the younger crowd that, hey, do the thing that you love, do the thing that makes you feel good. And that's cool once you're already successful. When your bills are paid, when you're not worried about how you're going to make the ends meet, then yeah, do the thing that you love. But we have to do what we have to do until we get to do what we want to do. And so I had a buddy that sent me a clip the other day, and it was very interesting. And I said, you know what, this would be something good to share on the show. And so growing up, I'm 47 years old. And so growing up, one of my favorite comedians was this guy in the image on the left side, who is named Edward Murphy, better known as Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy, we talk about a successful person, somebody who took his craft seriously. He was on Saturday Night Live, I believe, at 19 or 20 years old. We're talking about, a place that many comedians only aspire to get to. And he was there by 19 or 20 because he had already been in the comedy clubs making a name for himself. He was working on his craft day after day. However, one of the scenes or the skits on Saturday Night Live that he was most famous for was when he imitated a guy known as the Godfather of Soul, James Brown, the man who's on the right. And so he does this hot tub scene that is just a classic. And he was so good at the impersonation that even James Brown himself had to say, man, this guy is pretty good. Once again, success is not a hobby. And while we're talking about it, James Brown was also known as a perfectionist, somebody who always saw success as what he had to do day after day and not something that he could do when he felt like it. It wasn't just about the money. It was about, number one, the reputation, the excellence, and the fact that somebody is always coming up behind you looking to take your spot. And so just imagine what it would be like. I don't know who your hero might be or who you look up to, or when you look at your field of industry and you say, who is the best at this? Well, think about it. In entertainment, James Brown was at the top as far as when Eddie Murphy was young coming up. And like I said, Eddie Murphy was at the top of the comic game if you were around my age. But imagine if you had the opportunity to perform an impersonation of your hero right in front of them. Wouldn't that be challenging? Wouldn't that take like a load of confidence? And wouldn't you have to be absolutely sure that you were able to do it? That's not all. What if the place where you're doing it is in front of your actual hero, who is Richard Pryor, if you're Eddie Murphy? So I'm just setting up the video clip that I'm about to show you, where Eddie Murphy, at a tribute to his hero, Richard Pryor, is impersonating James Brown on stage in front of James Brown. I got somewhere I'm going with this, but let's take a look at this clip.
You know, I heard it tell him about Eddie Murphy, man. You got to see him do James Brown. You know. I mean, I'm not the greatest admirer of somebody that's doing my thing that deep. From what I heard, I'll ask you firsthand. I mean, what I heard.
What did you hear?
Can you really do James Brown?
Oh.
Keep in mind, James is about 70 years old right here.
I'm about ready to do my thing. 1704, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Get up. Get up. Stay on the scene. Set the scene. Get up. Get up. Stay on the scene. This is going too long. Need to stop because I look real silly and I want to save my career. But let's go on to the next thing. James Brown.
All right, that's enough. So what's the point here? Why am I bringing this up? Like I said, the name of the show is that success is not a hobby. When we think about some of the things that we want to do or we want to accomplish, the thing that brings the confidence to be able to do this on stage in front of everyone, even the quote unquote best, is because you know you've put in the work. You know you've put in the hours of time to, as Malcolm Gladwell said, the 10,000 hours of focused practice to be able to have the confidence to know that you can perform on a dime, just like that. And when we think about some of the masters of what they do, they become so intoxicated just with the vision of what it would look like to finally succeed. Does anybody feel like that? That's how I feel. And what I've recognized is that you have to be able to move from vision to action. Right? We can dream all we want. We can visualize all we want. After we even have the mindset developed to believe that we can do it, you still have to get it done. And that's just a matter of showing up day after day, putting in the work consistently. I was listening to a guy named Wes Watson. And Wes was saying that when he was in prison, that a prison guard told him to come over and stand next to him about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He said, watch, in about 5 minutes, there's an old convict that's going to come around that corner. And sure enough, he did 5 minutes later. And Wes said, wow, that's incredible that you knew that. He said, no. That guy has been doing that same thing at the same time for the last 14 years. I know and I'm convinced that consistency could be what we're missing. Will you show up day after day, like what they used to say about the mailman, rain, sleet, or snow, and deliver? Sometimes you deliver and it's just incredible, right? Other times you deliver and you just delivered. Nevertheless, be there and deliver. Work on your craft consistently. We put the plan together and we execute. Sometimes it's ugly. It's very ugly in the beginning, but it starts to look better and better as time goes on. As they say, even in this business, when it comes to content creation, that it's about consistency over time. And I think that's the message for me. And I know it's the message for many of you who have started something, and when it didn't feel like it was going to work out, you stopped or you quit. Maybe you didn't believe in yourself. Maybe you weren't sure that this is the way that you should take. But whatever it takes to figure out which way you're going to go, depending on your age, at some point you're going to have to make up your mind and say, this is it. And we're going in this direction. Who else has an understanding of this? And so take a look here at my main screen. The guy down in the bottom right, that's a guy who all of us seem to know because he's made billions and billions of dollars selling shoes. And he goes by the name of one Michael Jordan. And let me play you a clip from ex-NBA player named Andre Iguodala. He won a couple championships with the Golden State Warriors. And he's on a podcast, and he's telling a story that he heard from a Hall of Fame basketball player named David Robinson, who was a contemporary with Michael Jordan and also played with him on the 1992 Dream Team. Let's take a look here at what Andre says that David Robinson shared with him about Michael Jordan. So let's take a watch.
About him in the Olympics. He's like, listen, man, I hung out with this dude. I watched him play 36 holes of golf after he just blessed the best players in the world. Then go back and play cards all night long. This dude stayed up all night gambling. They had a game the next day. He went out and destroyed the team. This dude is full throttle. He was like, he's dancing with the devil. There's no way that this should be something that's real. I think I heard David Robinson.
So what he just said there, and if you know anything about David Robinson was one of the most fit, disciplined men or players who we've probably ever seen in the NBA. David Robinson came into the NBA after spending 4 or 3 years in the United States Navy. Came into the league absolutely jacked and ripped, one of the best to ever do it. But what he just finished saying about Mike was this, I hung out with this guy. I just watched him bust down the best players in the world, meaning the rest of the guys who were on the Dream Team, the American team. Then he went and played not 18, 36 holes of golf. Finishes that and then goes to the casino with the coach Chuck Daly, and they are in Monaco at the time, and plays cards all night long. He's like, well, when does this guy sleep? Turns around, comes back for a game the next day and just destroys the next team. And he said, as he said, he's full throttle. He said he must have a deal with the devil. How can somebody be this obsessed? That's what it takes. Success is not a hobby. Will you deliver consistently, be where you're supposed to be at the time you're scheduled to be there, and give your best, as he said there, full throttle? That's what we're missing. I'm not saying burn yourself out, because what leads to burnout is this. There's nothing wrong with stress. As a matter of fact, stress is good for us. It's what makes us grow. What the problem is when there's too much stress and you don't get a chance to alleviate it or to rest. We have to rest and recover after being stressed. If it's too much stress without any rest, that's overwhelm leading to burnout. But stress, large amounts, then rest and recovery, and back to stress. That's called the oscillation. So we have to set up our schedule in a way that we're going to be able to stress ourselves by pushing ourselves as much as we can, but then turn around and make sure that we get the rest and recovery, and then we do it all over again and again and again until we perfect the thing that we're looking to do. Is there anybody else that I might be able to bring up today? I don't know. Let's see. There's another guy who's pretty famous. His name, he goes by the name of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger was known as Mr. Olympia, I believe 6 times, or maybe it was Mr. Universe. When you think bodybuilding, This is who you think of. Not only was he Mr. Olympia, Mr. Universe, he went on to have an extraordinary career in Hollywood, making movies, especially The Terminator, I believe is what he's best known for. And then he even went on to have a stint as governor of California. And the question is, at what point do you just relax? At what point do you say, hey, I've made the money. I've shown that, yes, I'm a successful guy. And that's, once again, the issue, is that success is not a hobby. We don't do this part-time. We have to become the person where success is just part of us, that we win. We win. Joe Biden can't help you. Donald Trump can't help you. You have to help yourself. Number one, by making the decision that you're going to succeed, by creating the belief system within yourself to know by any means necessary, it's me that has to get it done. So I have to see myself doing it and believe that I can accomplish it. And number three, show up and deliver day after day. When we think about Arnold Schwarzenegger, the way he put it, he said, well, how did you get so big? How did you get your body this way? He said it was very simple. It's reps and sets. I show up to the gym and I do the reps and the sets over and over and over again until I can't do it anymore. And I go home and relax and recover, and I come back and do it again. So whatever your endeavor is, you can't just talk about it, you got to be about it. In one field, they say it can't be on you, it has to be in you. Where you have to know that I'm going to be consistent, I'm going to show up, whether I feel like it or not. Success is not a hobby. We have to show up. Consistency over time. So, will you be there tomorrow? I don't know. Why don't you be consistent with the show and show up tomorrow and see what else we have to say? Because in terms of what I do, I've been in the management development industry for the last 20 years, teaching managers and leaders how to be able to successfully lead their teams. But what I found is the managers and leaders who don't do well are those who have not figured out how to lead or manage themselves. And so what if we could take these management competencies and look at ourselves as multiple people? Why? Because we are multiple people. You're a father or a brother, uncle, at home, husband, and at work you're a manager, leader. To somebody else you're a friend. Within yourself you are all these different pieces of you that you have to be able to get in alignment to lead them to whatever your goal is that you need to get accomplished. So keep coming back, because we're going to begin sharing these management competencies and how we can apply them to you individually, where you can begin to tactically add them to your life and markedly see the progress, so long as you show up consistently over time, because success is not a hobby. Listen, my name is Carl Latting. I'm glad that you tuned in or clicked in today. We'll see you next time.